Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategies, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon and Haddad. How are you?
Yes, sir. Ready to go, my friend. We got
a
some
lot.
good ones today.
We do. We got a lot to go over today. We have the Broker Buzz, where we dive into this week's top posts of the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. The sales pitch training, where John helps us become better salespeople. And then we will wrap things up with story time with John. But first of all, fortune cookie. This week's, pick the hard one. Making a mess. Cultivate a sense of mindfulness and presence in your interactions.
Ooh.
I like that a lot.
Me too.
Do you want me to take it first?
Yeah, take it first. I like that they started with cultivate. We usually don't get them like that. Usually they're just like, have a nice day today.
Yeah. You're going to be rich. Cultivate a sense of mindfulness and presence in your interactions. So when you are with people and you are talking to them, whether in person, on the phone, online, be mindful of your presence, which is especially in person and online, your body language, your eye movement, your whether you're focusing on what's going on or if you are somewhere else, just being mindful and present. And I think that goes a long way because it shows that you are engaging. And if you are not engaging, then you're a fly on the wall.
I love that. And I agree. And I'm going to take it as I go through everything. And you and I talk about this a lot, right? Because you are right. Just be engaging, the icon, all of that's like first impression. It's so important to make sure the first impression is dialed in. But after the first impression, it's so important to make sure that you can be yourself and have that relationship with that person you're trying to build and cultivate the relationship with. So, perfect example. One of my best friends, Rami, Rami McCall, video guy, one of my best friends. Like one of the things I love about Rami is when him and I will connect and just relax and we'll chill. And we can play video games or, whatever it is. We don't have time to really do much. I got kids and he's busy with his life and my life, and it's hard. But when we do connect, like Rami knows the realest version of me, there's times where I just don't want to talk. I spend all day talking. I'm on the phones all day. And with him, we can sit there for an hour and not say a word to each other, but he knows everything's good. You know what I mean? And sometimes you're in a situation to where you feel forced to I got to say something. And so cultivating, that's why that word was so impactful to me when I hear it. Cause it is you spend a lot of life trying sometimes so hard, trying to make friends, trying to make sure I'm the right fit, trying to make sure it's a good first impression. But gosh, when you get that person around you where you can really be yourself, you have great goals, you're focused on the mission. Those are the relationships that I love the absolute most.
Absolutely. And those are the ones you have to cultivate because it's just when you're able to be yourself, it takes so much less energy and it's so much easier to be yourself than to be someone you're not. So if you just practice always being yourself and trying to be your best self, then there's not much else to say. So,
there isn't, man.
There isn't. So let's dive into the broker buzz because we got a lot to say there. With the first question, I have a client that is looking to get a jumbo loan, 1.2 mil. After they sell their current home, they are looking to use some of the proceeds to pay down the jumbo to about $500K. I know you can't recast a jumbo loan, but if the result loan is no longer jumbo, can the result be recast?
So this is investor specific, first and foremost. So every investor for jumbo is going to have different guidance. So check the guidance. Generally speaking, you are right. They generally don't allow a recast. For those that don't know what a recast is, if you do a 30-year fixed mortgage, the amount that you pay for principal and interest is going to be the same amount for 30 years. Now, the difference is up front, you pay a lot more in interest, and then later you pay the principal down. But it's always going to be the exact same number. Recasting a loan is basically saying, okay, I started this loan at $100,000. And I'm making the same payments, and I know I'm going to make the same payments for 30 years. Let's just say after 1 year, you're into the loan, you decide that you want to put down, it has to be more than $10,000 in 1 calendar year. So 12-month period, you can put down up to $10,000. You can pay $1,000 extra a month, $800, whatever it is. But if you apply $10,000 or more towards the principal balance, they will take the new balance and the exact amount of time you have left. So if you've been in the loan for a year, your new loan will now be re-amortized based off of 29 years at the lower balance as opposed to 30 years at the original balance. So recasts are very beneficial for clients that are trying to pay a house off faster. So for instance, I got my house in 2021. For those that did, your rate is very aggressive. So generally, you don't want to lose the rate, but you might want to pay the home down faster and you want a cheaper payment. That's where a recast makes sense. So to answer your question, if this lender doesn't allow, their investor doesn't allow recast, you have to meet the investor guidelines. It's not going to just change to a standard conventional loan because the investor is the one that currently holds the note. We're paying interest to that investor. They're the ones getting paid the interest, a majority of it on the loan. And so when you try to set it up this way, it sets you up where the investor goes, wait, no. We said 1.2 million at this interest rate for 30 years. Why are we going to do this for you? That's how they think. So generally speaking, you cannot do that. What you can do in this situation here, because you want to protect your client, just look at a refi for them. Look at a very minimal cost refi for the consumer. Generally look at a slightly higher interest rate to see if you can offset some of the cost for your client. But that's exactly what I would do in this situation. And then just make sure you don't EPO yourself or deal with any of that situation. But nope, you're going to meet the investor guidelines that it was delivered on the day the loan was sold off.
Right. So basically, if I'm understanding it right, you made an arrangement, you made the deal for the loan and how much the lender was expecting to make. And then this changes that. So that then doesn't allow or...
So just to give you an example, so this client's financing $1.2 million, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say they got an interest rate of 6.5% over 30 years. So 1.2 million at 6.5%, that monthly payment is going to be $7,584.82 to be exact. So that you're going to make that payment for 30 years.
Got it.
So the client has $500,000 that they want to put down. If this loan allows a recast and they have that 6.5% interest rate, they're now going to owe $700,000 at that same 6.5%. So now their payment just went from $7,584 all the way down to $4,424 with the exact same rate. And by the way, the recast fee is usually like $250, if that.
Yeah.
So think like that compared to a refi.
Right.
But in this case, someone might say, well, John, why would you even consider a refi? Well, they can't recast it. It's a massive loan. So they're look how much they're losing by you not doing this. So you might, well, John, I don't want to charge them cost. If you have to, you have to. I mean, you're saving them, you're allowing them to do this. And they can't right now in the current position if that's what the lender has. So to me, it makes sense. To me, flipping to conventional is not a big deal. If this is the path the client wants to go on, it's the best thing for you as well.
Got it. Moving on to number 2. I have a borrower who works for an automotive plant and has been receiving unemployment for the past year due to a temporary layoff. There is a benefit letter showing unemployment is guaranteed for up to the next 12 months, and borrower is still considered employed with the automotive plant through this time. Will a lender allow us to use unemployment income for qualifying purposes?
All right. I say this respectfully. 3 years is not temporary time off work. That is a really long time. 3 years is not a,
I think it's 12 months.
Oh, is that what they said? I thought I said 3 years. Oh, okay.
12 months.
Sorry. All right.
Guaranteed for the next 12 months.
Guaranteed for the next 12 months. So I apologize.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, it sounds like if they work for an automotive plant, they might be union. So if they're union, then yes, you technically can use unemployment if they're a union employee or a seasonal employee. It doesn't sound like they're seasonal.
No.
Sounds like they've been laid off now for a year. But they're you said they still work for them. Well, they don't work for them because they're not paying them, right? So you're not really working for them, but they're allowing them to collect unemployment, which generally means that it's union specific. So what I would do if I were you, ask the client, are you part of a union? If they say yes, ask, are your union dues up to date? If their union dues are up to date, then you can use the unemployment, but you have to use it based off of tax returns. So you're going to need to get the previous year's tax returns and the year after that as well. And in this situation,
Year before that?
The year before that as well. And in this situation, what I might do if I were you, it sounds like the client hasn't worked at all this year. So proving the unemployment, proving all of that, it's doable. It'll be very tough. So I would recommend you wait until they file taxes next year, put it on the unemployment, and then you can go with that process. But even if they go back to work this year, it's going to be really hard breaking down all that math and those numbers, and you're going to need a lot of documentation. I'm not saying it's not doable, but the client needs to be part of a union and their dues need to be up to date. If the client's not in the union, no, you can't use this. However, if the client does go back to work full time and they're a salaried employee going back to salaried pay, conventional, I would take a look at. FHA is going to have more questions just because the time off has been so long. And so FHA is going to be a little more strict with time off. Why are you off? What's going on? What's happening? Conventional will have, I don't want to say a little more lax, but their guidance is more clear on if you're guaranteed pay versus FHA.
Got it. And our final question this week. If you had unlimited money and resources, what would you build to transform mortgage technology forever? I thought this was fun.
I would have a system built that ensures you never miss a follow-up ever. I know, looking at data, talking to brokers, seeing what I see, being in retail for as long as I was, the follow-up game in the broker space is not good. It's just not good. And whether that's for a multitude of reasons, I don't know. I do think part of it is accountability. When we were in retail, it is what it is. You have no choice. It's like, well, you don't get opportunity if you don't do this. So we'll take the loan to somewhere else. There isn't as much of that on the broker space, and you miss opportunity. I have written too many loans when I was in retail. I've written too many brokers loans because they didn't call somebody back. I mean, it's insane what I could tell you about how many loans I've written because a broker forgets to call or, and it happens to me. Even when I came to this side, I'm not telling you I was perfect. Like, that's something that we jumped on right away because we noticed how bad it was and how much of our people, as we were hiring, were just missing stuff. So if I had unlimited money, you would never, ever miss a follow-up, ever. Not one time. That's where I would spend every dollar that I would have.
Maybe like an app that connects to your contacts and calendar, and somehow through AI or something figures out when to follow up.
Whether it's past clients, whether it's automation, that's the part where we would get granular and we'd have a fun what if field day, all day going down that path. But that's exactly what it is. Knowing when to call your past client, right? Like, when should I call this person, and knowing how to do it and when to do it. All of this stuff is stuff that I am a huge believer in. Even
like maybe putting it in windows of like most availability for the mass public or something.
It gets so deep, Tommy, with what you can do with it. But yes, if I had unlimited money and resources, that's what I'm doing.
Cool. Well, if you want your question answered and you're in the Brokers Are Best Facebook group, you can add on to your question when you post in there, #BrokerPowerUp, and get your question read here live and answered by John on the podcast. So if you are not an AIME member, you can scan the QR code that's on this next ad, and we'll see you in a sec for sales pitch training.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first. Couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com/membership. Your community is waiting.
All right, and we're back. John, how are we becoming better salespeople today?
So today, I talked about this with my team, and it has a lot to do with the importance of how you say things. And this is different from the ones that we've done in the past and asking the right questions. This is about taking control of a conversation because you are the expert. And how you say anything matters, especially in sales. This is influence. That's what sales is. Sales is influence and understanding goals and objectives. And look, be a good person, never take advantage of it. But it's your job and your duty as a sales professional to know about influence and how it works and speaking to your consumer. So, Tommy, today we were talking a lot about clients don't know what they don't know, and it's up to you to either make it a big deal or to not make it a big deal. So, perfect example. To me, getting documents back in a timely manner is of the utmost importance. I take it personal. If you are my client and you don't upload the documents when you say you're going to upload them, it bothers me. It eats at me so much because I'm busy and I'm regimented and I'm dialed in and I have conversations. And I was talking to my loan officers today and they were saying, well, what if the client gets busy? Well, what if you get busy for a doctor's appointment? What do? Do you cancel it or do you just not call? Do you not show up?
You cancel it.
You cancel it. What about your attorney? What about you have a date night with your spouse or your significant other?
You don't cancel that. You show up.
Well, yeah, you show up. Yeah, you're correct. You show up. But could you imagine not calling at all? No.
Enjoy life.
Me and you both, right? Both of us are like, are you nuts? One, if God forbid I didn't die, my wife would kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but to that point, I have that conversation, yet we look at ourselves so differently. So I'm going to start with documents first and foremost. It is incredibly important to make sure that the parts that you need done are the most important things that you speak about when you talk to your consumer. So ask yourself first and foremost, what are the most important pieces of this process? Don't tell me everything. Pick 3 to 5 tops. So let me give you an example. To me, I believe introduction is the number one thing for me. My introduction is how I make sure this works. Number 2, it's the way I communicate to the real estate agent. Very important to me on how that works. So when I get you pre-approved, my intro to your agent is everything in the world to me. I make it a big ordeal. Number 3, the documents that you send me. Number 4, the way that I get you from start to finish. So basically it's my post-close is what I call it. So this is how I manage your expectations throughout process. And then number 5 is what happens after you close. These are the 5 things that are important to me. I would recommend you start on 3 to 5. I start with 3, no less than 3, no more than 5. You can add more later, but you're just going to overwhelm yourself. And yes, everything's important. I get it, but there's things where the way I speak are very differently. So we'll start with the introduction. So once you pick out the most important pieces, you now have to build an entire game plan around these 3 to 5 pieces. And I mean, sit down for an hour, 2 hours, map it out, role play it, practice. So my introduction, when I came to the broker side, I needed to change it. And so why is that a big deal? So let me give an example. So Tommy, when I was in retail did the branding for me. So when you got on the phone with me, you already knew who my company was. I didn't have to, I was gifted 3 minutes. This is what I tell people. A massive brand gives you 3 minutes on the phone. As a broker, you have to earn 3 minutes. So for me, the second that client answers the phone, it's the same way every time. My name is Jonathon Haddad. I go through that spiel, and then I go this. How much do you know about mortgage brokers? Go ahead, Tommy.
If you're
And by
buying,
the way, I want you to be right now, even
Yeah.
be a dry client for me.
Sure, absolutely. How much do I know about mortgage brokers? I bought a house once. But before, do you want me to pretend like before I bought the house?
Be dry, whatever you want, but just be a dry client. Like, all right, whatever.
Sure. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Tom, my name is Jonathon Haddad. I appreciate the connection today. Your agent got you in touch with me. I've been doing this now for a little over a decade, and I want to make sure I get all of your goals. Look, one thing about me is this. I'm going to ask a lot of questions up front. You might find them annoying, and I can live with that. I'm comfortable living with that because I know asking these questions allows me to put the best potential option together for you and your family. Now, let me ask, what do you know about mortgage brokers?
Not much. I know that I need one to get my house. Apparently, that's what my agent told me. But you find me the money, I guess.
So I love it. I always ask this question, Tommy, and the reason I ask is just to get an understanding of where you're at in the process yourself and what you understand about it. So me as a broker, let me walk you through what it actually means for you as a consumer. There's going to be hundreds of people fighting for your business. My job is to make sure I showcase you in the best light possible with inside the walls of integrity. So here's what that means for you and your family. I have to make sure I ask all the right questions around your income, your property, your assets, and your credit. This call is not going to take longer than 15 minutes. And if you want to go longer, we can. The floor is yours, at least for the next 30 before I have to go on to my next meeting. So with that being said, I need to showcase you in the best light. Tell me, what areas are you looking at and why are you looking at them?
I'm looking at an area about 2 counties over, trying to find a better school district for my kids.
So did you feel it? I'm serious. Did you feel it? Did you feel even right now? I know you know me, and I know we're role playing.
I had to come up with something because I don't have kids. But I feel like you guided me in you're trying to figure out how you can best help me and why I'm doing it. And the way I answered a lot of questions that you now don't have to ask. Is that?
That is. And then it's my control of the conversation. I'm not going to rush through my introduction because you don't have time. If the client says I don't have time right now, I will reschedule. No problem. I'm the one that controls how fast of a pace this goes by. So a perfect example, you and I, we talk about it, right? Gaming. And we enjoy it when we can. There are certain games that you play and I know I play where everything's just slowed for you, right? Everything's slowed down. You know what's going to happen next. You know who's coming in next. You probably played the game over and over again. You're not going to be surprised by anything. Everything slows down, but it goes at your pace. And sales is the same way. When you get the racing thoughts is when you lose this battle. So that's just one example of an introduction. All right. We talked about the other ones. Let's talk about getting documents in a timely manner. This is all about making sure that I bring you closer and closer and closer and closer to me. And not because I want to control and all. No, it's because I'm helping you with potentially the biggest, if not the biggest financial asset and decision of your life.
And I think getting that across is just so important because a lot of people don't realize that.
No, they don't. And I make sure, and I'm not here to create doubt. So here's one of the things that I love doing when it comes to getting documents. Okay. Tommy, this next part, as silly as it might sound, is going to allow me to make sure I showcase you in that best light that we've been talking about this entire time. However, from my experience, I sometimes find that this is a game of tug and war with the next thing I'm going to say. Are you curious to what it might be?
Yeah, you have my interest.
Okay. All right. First and foremost, I am gaining interest. I'm not just delivering. I'm waiting to gain interest. Do you want to hear what I have to say? Maybe the client says, I don't care. I'll tell you right now.
That could be another path for sure.
It's been rare. Now, I'm not going to pretend, y'all, that every time I've done this, I've never had. No, I've had it. It happens.
I don't care. I just want a house.
Yeah. And when it happens, what I don't want you to do is say, that guy, John, man, I can't wait to see him so I could punch him in the face. No, it is going to happen. When it does, it's going to throw you off because the majority of your clients aren't going to do it. When it happens, figure it out. I'm not going to go down that path just yet. Are you interested in understanding what that means? The client almost every time is going to say, yeah, I am. Okay. So it's going to sound silly. but here are the documents that I need from you. And I scheduled an appointment for you at 10 a.m. tomorrow with my underwriter. Here are the documents. I want to walk through them with you and make sure you and I are on the same page. First thing I want to walk through is, like we talked about earlier, your income, property, assets, and credit is your income. You said you're paid X, X, and X. Is that correct? Perfect. Here's exactly what I need from you. Do you have access to it?
I don't, but I can ask my boss.
So this is why, y'all, this is the next step of it. Yes, you gain the interest. The next thing is ask if they have access. Is that easily accessible? Is that easily in front of you?
Do you know how to get it?
Do you know how to get it? Well, John, I don't talk on my phone call applications. I email. Great. Email them that then. I don't care. Text them that. You're now giving yourself permission every step of the way. And so I love asking for permission every step of the way, because if you don't, then when you start asking for this stuff later, that's when these clients start, oh, you already asked me for this. I already got this. I already got. And that leads me into my next point. Just know that we'll need to do this a couple more times throughout process. Hopefully one more time. Everything seems to be pretty dialed in here. Now, I do work with an incredible team that helps me every step of the way, and we do our best to make sure the right hand is constantly talking to the left hand. Sometimes things get lost in translation. I'm sure you can relate. With that being said, my processor, his or her name is, they are a direct extension of me. Now, if for some reason they do reach out and they ask you for something you know you've already uploaded, please just don't get frustrated and just text me or text them and let them know, hey, I believe I've uploaded this. Is that fair for you to do?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Guys, what am I doing? I'm managing expectations on stuff that could go wrong. Yep. Some of you might say, well, John, I don't deal with that. That never happens. Don't lie. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Fair. But you're not solving for that. All you're doing is changing your words and taking an extra 10 seconds to ensure that your process is dialed in. So today's strategy is about inching closer to your consumer. This sales tip is about taking the time and slowing down, making sure clients enter your realm. It's your process. Own it. That is my sales tip. I hope you enjoyed it. We got a lot more coming your way.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was fun. I think it's one of those things where if I could add something, it's just each step, each document you send is getting the consumer closer to their goal of the house. And so if you kind of put it that way, it's just like the sooner I get this, the sooner we can move on to the next step, the sooner. So it kind of puts some pressure behind them getting you the document if they're not as quick to get you the document.
Correct.
But if you want more sales pitch training live and in person in Nashville in October, you can scan the QR code. And if you're an AIME member, claim your ticket. And if you're not, you can get a ticket or become an AIME member and get a cheaper ticket. So scan the QR code and we'll be right back with story time.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting-edge content we've ever produced, featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimegroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIME annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
I can't wait for story time. So, John, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, I do want to start us with a random fact today. Tommy, I know you can hear me. So, the first ever joke was recorded on the clay scriptures. It was recorded in 1900 BC, 4,000 years ago. And the first joke recorded on paper is a fart joke. Stands the test of time. That's a true story. You can go look it up. I couldn't believe it when I read it either, but I cannot believe that 4,000 years later, a fart joke is still funny. Anyway, that's my story for today. I hope you guys have a great time. Jokes aside, that is a true story. But today's story is going to be slightly different. And I'm coming to you all today just talking about your personal growth and who you are as a human being, and taking ownership and accepting the life that's been put in front of you and propelling yourself forward every single day, every step in the way. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my life was unbelievably hard. I'm also not going to tell you that it was unbelievably easy, because it was neither. I have family that grew up overseas. I'm the first one born here, as you guys know. And I have family, my parents, who had it very rough, and their parents had it even worse. And every generation just tries to make it better and better and better. And we ran into our issues. You guys know about mine, and you have your own issues that you deal with. And as you go through life, what I found myself doing over and over and over again is finding someone to blame. Every single time. Now, this never stopped for me. It took me many years to get out of this mindset. As I was growing up, going through school, I finished high school, and here's the world in front of you, and you're ready to start running, and here is life, and this is it. Things are going to change and get so much better. Guess what? They didn't. I thought everything was just going to fall into my lap, and guess what? It didn't. And why would the world do that to me? I can't believe you would do this to me. I just finished high school. I had some hard things happen to me. I should be rewarded. And a lot of us feel that way. And then I went through life and I started my journey in corporate. And it just got worse. Now I'm making money and still mad at the world. I'm making a lot of money at a very young age. At 22 years old, I'm pouring it in. Heavy six figures. More money than I ever saw in my life. And yet I'm blaming everybody. When things don't go my way, I blame someone else. Oh, I can't get in shape. That's so-and-so's fault. It's because I work so hard. Well, at least I work the weekends. Here I am justifying my actions, justifying my excuses. And this has been weighing very heavily on my mind, especially now that I have kids and they're starting to grow. And I'm trying to figure out ways that make their life harder, but what are they going to deal with? And then I sat there and I thought to myself, it's not about what they're going to deal with. It's about the conversations that we have to have with them and the ones you have to have with your colleagues and friends and your family about when something does happen, what are you going to do? Not how are you going to deal with this? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? How are you going to approach it? Personal growth is hard. Healing is hard. But it starts with you. There's always going to be noise. And I'll never forget the day when I figured out all this was happening and I was starting to take over and I was going to take over for AIME. I went back and forth and I said to myself, like, oh my gosh, do I want to do this? And for the longest time, I used to bodybuild and I used to love speaking all the time. And I used to say to myself, I want to be an influencer. And I would make every excuse. Well, I don't have the right equipment. Oh, well, I'm not in the best shape yet. Oh, well, when I just lose a little bit more weight, I'll go on camera. Oh, I don't like my teeth. These are veneers, by the way, in case anyone ever asked. I've had people ask me before. But all I was doing was making excuses. I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of being in the spotlight. And I had to have a real conversation with myself and I had to write it out. That's what you're afraid of. There's no one else's fault. this journey, this opportunity, everything that happens to you is right here. It's controllable. It's in your two hands. And I know some of you have had very rough lives, but you tell me why there's other people out there that have had way worse situations than myself or you, yet here they are smiling, ready for the next thing, ready to grow, ready to understand life, ready to take on whatever is thrown their way, regardless of their circumstances. I'm not saying don't think about your circumstances. What I'm saying is understand them, figure out how they hurt you, and then get over them. Because it's time to move on, and it's time to be the best version of you. And you know where you can't find the best version of you? In the past. Because that person's changing every day, but not if you don't let that go. Life is hard. Life is tough. You're a hell of a lot tougher, and you know it. That is my story for today.
Love that. One, fart jokes, yes, they are funny.
Yeah.
Always will be. Two, you can, I wanted to just add a little bit to it. I think you can, very often you are your own worst critic. And I had a conversation with a friend last night, actually, who was feeling really overwhelmed with work and was stressed about all these decisions that he had to make and was just really overwhelmed. And I was like, well, who's putting this pressure on you? Who's because he's at the top of his company. I was just like, who's putting this pressure on you? And he was just like, me. And I was just like, yeah, okay. So mope about it for a couple hours and then wake up tomorrow and take it on. The only person you can disappoint is yourself. But I mean, I know that, but it's one of those, like, you expect the best version of yourself to just always be there, but they're not going to be. Tomorrow's is going to be better, has a chance to be better, as long as you put the effort in.
That's why I said it, because I knew it was coming, and it is true, man. And we all do it. You do it. I do it. It's just a hard thing to grasp. And the more we talk about it, I think the better, especially because a lot of people don't. But I also met a place to what you said. It's like, we do this to ourselves, myself included, but I appreciate you all. Thank you as always.
Yeah, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor, hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content. Share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. And remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.